All right, let's do it. Here we go. More investigations. In the middle of investigations. Yeah. All right. So I believe we had just talked to everybody, and let me get my bearings. I think, yeah, we just returned Lotta from the chess dimension. And let's see, do we have any logicking to do? Yes. Okay. Auction entry and exit. So, participants entered the storeroom one by one from the roof. They also left one by one through the storeroom and up to the roof. Okay. Disappearing victim. It's possible the murder happened in the storeroom during the auction. So let's connect these two and see if they actually fit. And it looks like they do. If the storeroom was the actual scene of the crime, then you'd expect the body to have been up here at some point as well. Huh? Well, yeah. But think back to what Miss Hart told us about how the customers left the auction. Do you remember? Of course! They came up from downstairs, back through the storeroom, and... Oh! Exactly. The killer would have had to hide the body in order to avoid its discovery. The question is, where did they hide it? The body was hidden so auction participants who were leaving wouldn't spot it. Well, Lotta was hiding behind the statue. So yeah, that's a good question. Emma, if you wouldn't mind putting your skills to work for me now? I'd love to! You just say what you need, and I'll get right on it. Very well. Then I'd like you to check for blood residue. A luminol test, in other words. Sure thing! Prepare to witness the power of science. I've never seen somebody's eyes actually sparkle with anticipation before. Alright, how about we test the ladder over there first? Based on Miss Hart's picture, I'd say the person in the red raincoat was about to climb it and make their escape, which means there's a high chance of a positive result. To test an area, just press spacebar. Oh, we're going right into it then. Alright, let's do it. That'll spray a little luminol on it. Yep, we've done this. And if it happens to land on some blood, you'll see it react like this. Ugh, it still feels super raw to just see it appear like that. Anyway, that's a positive, but it's still faint. Spraying it a couple more times should be enough to really make it stand out. Yeah, that brought it out nicely and made it feel that much more real. Anyway, I think you've got the gist of how to look for blood traces now, right? I'm sure there's still some more to be found, so why don't you give it a try? Alright, we got our little cross. It looks like I'm about to shoot something. No. Alright, there we go. So we got blood. Aha! There we go. And that's how it's done. Take a good look around and see if you can find some other places to test with the luminol. Alright. If we can't find blood, we'll make some with those crosshairs. That's right. We're gonna get Leon Kennedy here to help us out with his vast array of weapons. Oh, I didn't notice that up there it says win through compromise. What is that supposed to mean? You want to test there? Yeah, that's next. Sorry, it's a negative. Well, never mind. I was about to say that was a good idea, but apparently it's not. How about over here? You want to test there? Sorry, it's a negative. Alright, what about over here? You want to test there? Just spray some luminol in any place suspicious. Well, because we didn't get skipped, I bet there's going to be something in here. Oh, look at that. Mr. Edgeworth! Blood! But how could it have gotten there? Maybe somebody put something with blood on it in there? Clothes box blood. There are still places we haven't tested yet. Let's see what else we can find. Alright, what about this? You want to test there? Sorry, it's a negative. Hey, where did, Oh, okay. I was like, where'd Eddie and Hay go? Test there. What about the money? No? Okay, the suitcase. Nope. Whoa, the statue. I told you, Mr. Edgeworth, there's no blood there. Oh, okay. That's fine. Careful with that. You can't go around spraying others with luminol. I wasn't about to. I don't know. If there's anybody I would spray with luminol, it'd be Lotta, frankly. You can take that as a compliment or not. Careful with that. Okay, okay. Yes, I know. What about Miss Monkey over here? Let's see. No? How about in the elevator? I have a feeling we're gonna get a positive. Let's see. Ah! Yep, there it is. We've got a positive! There's blood here! But how come? Probably because this is where the murder was actually committed, I'd say. Oh, looks like some of it dripped through to the floor below, too. Elevator blood data jotted down. Elevator blood sounds like a Goosebumps book name. I think that's all the blood there is to be found. Alright, then that concludes this phase of our investigation. Alright. Cool. So what next? We only have one piece of logic. Oh, no, we don't. Closed box blood and hidden body. Okay, okay. Yeah, easy peasy. Blood in the closed box can only mean one thing. That is where the body was hidden. I'm certain of it. I wonder who won the box in the auction. I haven't the foggiest. Still, it's a very helpful discovery. Now you just hold your horses there! There's no way the body could have been in there! What do you mean? I took a look at that box when I first got in here. Looked to be just about the perfect size for a little hide-and-go-seek if the need arose. And maybe it would have been if I could have opened it. But it was wrapped in chains and locked up tight, and I ain't no schematologist. The murder happened just after a little bit after I scooped it out, so I can't nobody have put no body in there. Wrapped in chains and locked up tight, you say? That's odd. Because it doesn't look to be wrapped in chains any longer. Huh? Well, slap my head and call me silly. Could have swore it was, though. Alright, box in which the killer hid the body. Traces of blood were detected inside. I think we've examined all we can now. Great! Time to see what's waiting down below. Taking a leg already, are we, Miles? Okie dokie. Hey, Game Meister. Oh, yes, Mr. Fender? We're about ready to move out, so I want you to stick with me, okay? Can't have you getting lost. Of course, I'll be sure to stay close. When did those two start getting along so well? Investigation complete as we go down the elevator. April 5th, 7:43 p.m. The Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence. The Chamber. Yes. What? Whoa, Mr. Edgeworth! This room. This is the auction room? No, this is the committee chamber. Way to drop right into my lap, Kay Faraday. You've got real guts, I'll give you that. Arrest her, men! Arrest her right now! Wait, but she's... As for the rest of the riffraff, throw them out into the streets where they belong. You can't do this. This is going way overboard. Yeah, what she said. Miles, this isn't looking good, I gotta say. See how the blinding light of justice shines? Ah! Yowie! What did I do? You'll have to forgive me. I meant to hit a certain cowardly ex-prosecutor. You weren't aiming for him. You were aiming straight at me. Something keeps getting in my way. Something... Yeah! Right there. Francisca? So, what are you doing here, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I still believe Kay to be innocent. And we're supposed to care what you believe? You no longer have the right to an opinion. I am Franziska von Karma, and I have no intention of stopping here or now. But you chose to stop by giving up your badge, and so our game has already come to an end. My badge was an obstacle to proceeding along the road I've chosen. I haven't stopped, I've simply cleared the way ahead. And now I'm free to follow that road, all the way to the truth. So don't you think for a second that my conviction has changed. I'm every bit as dedicated as I ever was. You seem to think you know what lies at the end of this road to the truth. In that case, I demand that you show me. I'll explain my current theory first, and if your road fails to lead anywhere, my whip will happily guide it. Oh, here we go. Franziska's current theory. The victim used her keycard and entered this chamber with her killer. She was then stabbed with the candelabrum by the culprit, and subsequently died as a result. We know the identity of the murderer thanks to the letters she exchanged with the victim. And we know the location of the murder is here in the committee's trial chamber. The blood on the floor of this room proves my theory. Game, set, and match. Miles Edgeworth, QED. But we know that the murder was in the elevator. She seems pretty confident, huh? She doesn't lack the courage of her convictions, that's for certain. And I gotta say, I can dig that vibe. I could even give her a no hard feeling. Pathetic. Well, Miles Edgeworth, do you think you can bring my case crashing down around my ears? If you really have found the road to the truth, perhaps you'd be so kind as to point me toward it? I'll be very happy to. Settle in, Franziska. I'm about to pave that road with incontrovertible evidence. Maybe someday, Eddie will get to hug somebody. The victim used her keycard and entered this chamber with her killer. And you're sure the data from the security system is accurate? That data is just like me, perfect in every way. There's no room for doubt on either front. Well, your theory is far from perfect. I suppose I'm not going to change your mind on this so easily, am I? Correct. As I said, the victim entered the room with her killer. She was then stabbed with the candelabrum. Okay. And the stab wounds she sustained are a perfect match with the candelabrum in question. 3 wounds inflicted by metallic spikes of some kind in 3 places simultaneously. Even you have to agree that there aren't many objects that could do that. Furthermore, Grandma Hertz confirmed the murder weapon in her report. Then there's absolutely no doubt in your mind that it was the candelabrum? None whatsoever. And as for the culprit, we know the identity of the murderer. Have you managed to prove conclusively that the letter found on the victim was sent by Kay? I wasn't aware that there was any doubt on that front. Are you suggesting it was a forgery? Well, if there was any doubt, there isn't any longer. Document analysis turned up nothing. Nothing to suggest the involvement of anyone other than the sender and the recipient, or of any forgery. Are you saying that they found Kay's prints? No, only the victim's. Well then, how can you say for sure that Kay did the deed? Haven't you been listening? Document analysis found nothing to suggest that the letter was a forgery. Face it, the letter was sent by Kay Faraday. A fact that more than adequately proves the identity of the murderer. And we know the location of the murder is here in the committee's trial chamber. You can prove that the murder happened here in the committee chamber, I suppose? Von Karma is perfect in every way. Or did you forget that when you handed in your badge? The blood on the floor proves my theory. Okay, that's probably the one we gotta present on. Has the blood been analyzed to see who it belongs to? It has, and unsurprisingly, it was confirmed to be that of the victim. And has it occurred to you that where it was found may not be where the murder in fact took place? How quickly you forget, Miles Edgeworth. Evidence is everything in the courtroom. So please, present your proof that the murder occurred elsewhere. Or kindly stand down. Proof that the murder occurred elsewhere, huh? This isn't a courtroom, but that doesn't mean I can't give her the evidence she so clearly desires. She makes a pretty watertight argument, huh? Perhaps, but she doesn't know what we know. You're right. We've got a certain scientific discovery up our sleeves. And that discovery will show her to the road I've found to the truth. Well, let's present it then. It would be point 5, the elevator blood. Yeah. If I remember correctly, the blood discovered in this room was located at the foot of the Goddess of Justice statue. Murder under the gaze of the divine, a brazen act even for a cold-blooded killer. Except that may not be true at all. Take a look at this, if you would. It's a blood stain we discovered in the storeroom directly above the committee chamber. As you can see, the blood we found looks to have dipped through to the room below. And the elevator it dripped down from descends directly to the foot of the statue. Ah, you noticed. Then you will agree that the murder cannot in fact have happened in this room. I put it to you that the victim was killed in the room above, and only afterward was she moved down here. The Goddess of Justice did not witness a murder. She witnessed a killer trying to cover their tracks. Why is she smiling? Sorry, I was just thinking back to a very similar situation. Well done, Ms. Mouse Edgeworth. You've proven yourself to be even more foolish than I thought. Mr. Edgeworth is anything but a fool, sir, and you know it! Youge! Have you forgotten the picture you just showed me, or are you really that airheaded? Even a cursory glance shows that there was far more blood here in the committee chamber than upstairs. Ouch! Whipped and ignored again! Wish I could get some love too! You're trying to tell me that all of that blood dripped down from above, Miles Edgeworth? If it had, your storeroom stain would need to be 10 times as big. She makes a point. I say the murder happened down here. There's no way it could have happened anywhere else. As insightful as ever, Francisca. But you've played right into my hands. How so? You are correct. There is far less blood upstairs than one would expect. The question is, why? A trifling detail in the face of my previous explanation. Alas, your explanation doesn't account for why there was blood in the storeroom in the first place. Surely you don't think some spatter managed to shoot itself all the way up there, do you? Whoa, like some crazy fountain of blood? No way! No way indeed. It's completely impossible. So, how about this? What if this explains the difference in the amounts of blood observed? There was far more blood in the committee chamber than in the storeroom above because the weapon was removed here, the victim was stabbed here, the victim was stabbed upstairs. The weapon was removed? That could be. The victim was stabbed here. No, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, we're arguing the victim was stabbed upstairs already. Let's say the weapon was removed here. The victim died of 3 stab wounds, wounds that would have bled profusely. Exactly, as proven by the amount of blood we found on the floor of this room. But that doesn't make any sense! Not if she was stabbed in the storeroom. You said there wasn't much blood in the... Silence, you half-baked, hair-brained rookie! Hey, hair-brained is a little... Yeah! A stab wound bleeds heaviest at one particular point in time. Oh, I know. When the weapon is removed, right? Precisely. I believe the body was brought down to the committee chamber with the candelabrum still in its chest. And then, when it was finally removed, it created the difference in the amount of blood we see between the 2 locations. But why? What was the killer trying to do? I imagine they were trying to give the impression that the murder happened down here. As we know, Miss Ringer's keycard was used late last night. Judging by the time listed here in the record, I'd hazard a guess that it was used by the killer. when they entered the room to create their elaborate setup. But why would they have needed to do all this in the first place? Perhaps because a person with a face to hide would fear the storeroom being found in the investigation. If they were involved with the underground auction, they couldn't afford to have their dirty secret exposed. Committee chamber blood. Okay, cool. Underground auction? You should take a look at the storeroom for yourself. The items up there tell quite a story. One that should more than explain what was going on here last night. It's almost endearing, Miles Edgeworth. How desperately you want to protect your friend. There's something just beneath the surface of this case. Something bigger than all of us. And Kay's only crime was to have the bad fortune to fall right into the middle of it. That's quite the hyperbolic claim, Miles Edgeworth. Hyperbolic? Me? Surely you're the one making a mountain out of my perfectly reasonable molehill. You're working with Interpol on international cases. So why are you investigating a domestic murder? I'll tell you why. Because this case has something to do with the smuggling ring you've been chasing. You followed the trail of items being smuggled by the ring and wound up here. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that the something I sense isn't related to any of this. I'm very happy to learn that you giving up your badge didn't completely relieve you of your senses. Scruffy here told me about the circumstances that led up to that, by the way. Sorry, sir. I just thought it might help, you know? You did the right thing, Detective. So am I right, Francisca? Is this incident part of the broader case you're working? Was the underground auction already on Interpol's radar? Wouldn't you like to know? But you don't need to, and so you won't. Then you knew, didn't you, that the auction was being held here in this chamber? Hey, y'all mind if I butt in for a sec? Hey, your victim over there, the lady in the white? You! Hey, let a gal finish, will ya? No good butting in pain in the you-know-what. Ouch! Hey, well, this leopard sure ain't changed her spots. Your testimony is not required, and neither is your presence. Well, that's right, she would know Lotta from, was it the second case of the second game? Yeah. What do you mean? I'm a journalist. You can't— Ow! You're a liar is what you are. You lied under oath that one time. Seems like Miss Von Karma's none too fond of Miss Hart, huh? I don't think she's her biggest fan, no. What's she called? Ringer, right? She was a member of this here committee? Well, she's dressed exactly like the ringleader of that 3-6— Ow! Stop it! Stop whipping me, dang it! What is the meaning of this interruption? Miles Edgeworth, explain! Miss Hart here helped us out by describing how the auctioneer was dressed. And it seems they were wearing the exact same outfit as the victim, Miss Rosie Ringer. But that would mean that the victim was also the ringleader. Now, how about we just calm down, sir? It seems I have some new information to consider. It's true that I came here to investigate the underground auction, and to arrest its head of operations, the auctioneer. But if Miss Hart is to be believed, the ringleader is dead. I guess that means your journey here today was wasted. I suppose it does. Nonetheless, I, Francisca Von Karma, I refuse to leave empty-handed. Time for a rematch, Miles Edgeworth. Fine by me. But you may find that your whip will go sorely underused this round. Alright, round 2 here. Francisca's latest theory. Fine, I accept your little explanation. That would make the storeroom the actual scene of the crime. Yes? In which case, the murderer is someone connected to the auction. And if the photographer is to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer, and the culprit was an attendee. The killer lay in wait for the victim in the storeroom where the exchange of illicit goods was to take place. Then, they stabbed the victim in the chest with a piece of merchandise, the candelabrum. There. Does that about sum it up? Because I won't be accepting rebuttals. I'm afraid you might have to. There's a serious hole in your testimony. There is? I didn't spot any. Good thing you're the one in charge here, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright then, time to fight back. You have to win this for us. And I will. Time to take Francisca's testimony to task. Rebuttal. Francisca's latest theory. Right. Accept your little explanation. Okay. You conceded that point rather easily. I can't help but be suspicious. I'm not in the habit of denying facts that are readily supported by the evidence. That's all there is to it. You were able to show that the murder actually took place in the storeroom. In which case, the murderer is someone connected to the auction. And how exactly did you come to that conclusion? Members of the big building staff were questioned extensively, but none mentioned a secret storeroom. It seems its existence was known to only a handful of people. And of course, that storeroom was where the items that were to be sold in the auction were being kept. Very good, which suggests a link between knowledge of the storeroom and involvement in the auction. And if the photographer is to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer, and the culprit was an attendee. So you believe that the victim and the ringleader were one and the same? I do, and the murderer was... Why are you asking her this? You just said the exact same thing yourself, dummy! So I did. But I was merely confirming Francisca's reasoning in order to... Oh, don't give me that horse feed! You get caught saying something stupid, you give a little laugh, and move on with your day. The murderer was one of the auction attendees. What? You don't got no notes for our friend here after that little performance of his? Of course, assuming that our friend, the photographer's word, can be trusted. I can't quite tell if they love or hate one another. Anyway, the more relevant point here is how the culprit actually carried out their plan. The killer lay in wait for the victim in the storeroom. Exchange of illicit goods was to take place. How exactly did they manage that, may I ask? Miss Hart was in the storeroom too, remember? Yes, hiding someplace. And if you've seen the storeroom yourself, you'll know that there are plenty of other places to hide too. So you're saying the killer was hiding out of sight while they awaited the victim's arrival? I believe we can reasonably assume that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. After all, the victim was the auctioneer herself. She would surely have needed to be present throughout the proceedings. She thinks it happened afterward? Would you mind adding that statement to your testimony, Francisca? See, I believe we can reasonably assume that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. Do we have a problem with that? We got the red raincoat guy leaving. We got the ringleader's appearance. Got Miss Hart's statement. Okay, hang on a second. Illicit auction held in big building. Items on sale were mainly items of police evidence. 11 attendees altogether, all were wearing masks. Auction continued even after the murder occurred. So Lotta's statement contradicts this. There we go. It seems you're one step behind yet again, Francisca. How so? The auctioneer was not in fact the victim, and I can prove it. This is the statement Miss Hart gave us. Well, if she made it, it's not worth the air she used to say it. I done told you, I'm a journalist, dagnabbit. My word is youch! Did I ask you to open your mouth? Double youch! Calm down and listen for a second, Francisca. Miss Hart witnessed at least some of the events surrounding the murder, and she confirmed that the auction continued even after the murder had occurred. You bet it did. Went right on like nothing had happened at all. How would that have been possible without an auctioneer? It wouldn't. So you see, the victim couldn't have been the auctioneer. She was one of the attendees. No! As I've been saying since the start, there's no way Kay can be the murderer, because she had been pushed down the hatch by her assailant and knocked unconscious by that time. So then who was the victim really? Right, well, if the auction carried on after the murder, the victim must not have been the auctioneer, but an attendee. That's enough. I know that sound all too well. Yep. Order in the courtroom. All rise for the chairman.
Oh, there's no need for all that pomp and circumstance, Verity. Please, everyone, feel free to call me Celsius. Yes, that'll do nicely.
All right, Celsius, what are you doing here?
Oh, I just stopped by to see how my bone-headed boy was getting along.
I like that he even calls him that. They say there are all sorts of families, but I'm not sure these two were what they meant.
I thought I might need to light a fire under this investigation, but it seems not. The suspect everyone's searching high and low for is right back here where we started.
Men, detain the suspect immediately. Wait, Miss Faraday is innocent.
Shut your meddling mouth! You're becoming something of a problem, Miles, my boy. I thought I told you. The committee wants this matter cleared up as soon as possible. It's a matter of trust. We can't have our organization be seen to drag its feet. It's bad for us, and it's bad for me too, personally. Sorry, it must be my age.
Your unlawful investigation ends here, and it will not be permitted to resume. In case you have forgotten, you are no longer a prosecutor. You have no authority here. And what's more, there is the matter of you aiding and abetting a suspect.
She's right, of course. As always, you really are a godsend, Verity.
Everything I do knowingly. If you wish to prosecute me for it, be my guest. But know this. We have uncovered a new suspect. This person here. Miss Faraday was attacked by this You can stop right there, Mr. Edgeworth. The raincoat in your picture was discovered nearby a short while ago. The victim's blood was found on the hood, along with some cherry blossom petals. Cherry blossom petals? Like the ones on the roof? Yes, they were stuck to the edges of the bloodstains, probably due to the blood being fresh at the time.
The results came back already, my boy, so there's no mistaking it. The person in your picture is the victim, Miss Rosie Ringer.
What? Won by the victim? Oh. No! This completely undermines our entire case! All our assumptions were based on the person in the red raincoat being the killer. But if they were the victim instead, then Kay remains at the top of the suspect list. Miss Faraday, you testified to having encountered a person in a red raincoat up on the roof, correct? Yes, I did. We now know that the person was the murder victim, and you are the only person we know of who came into contact with her. Since one of you wound up dead, I think we all know how that encounter went. No, Kay was attacked by that person. She is the victim here, not the aggressor. As far as I recall, we have yet to see any evidence that proves she was attacked, as you claim. And even if such proof existed, Miss Ringer could simply have been acting in self-defense. Well, you can't just jump to conclusions like that. Kay is innocent. But I'm not.
Kay?
I'm not innocent. I don't want to believe it, but I remember something. Hearing about the raincoat brought it back. Just a flash, but I remember what I saw now. Right when it happened. The murderer, it was me. I remember looking down and the person in the red raincoat was on the ground. It was me, Mr. Edgeworth. It was me all along. I'm the murderer. I'm the murderer.
No, you're not. You can't be.
Then what am I? Why do I have a memory like that? They were on the floor in front of me. There was a pool of blood. Why was I just standing there? Why didn't I do something? I know why. It's because I was the killer. This court recognizes the legitimacy of the accused's memories.
What? But you said you didn't believe her like 5 minutes ago!
I commend you on your bravery, Miss Faraday. It will not go unrewarded. Praise be to the goddess of justice for her many blessings. As an official representative of Interpol, I hereby request the suspect be... We don't have time for this. We must arrest Kay Faraday this instant.
How dare you take that tone with me?
This is a gross overreach of authority. I demand that you give us more time to investigate. You say my investigation is unlawful? What could be more unlawful than this? Unfortunately, you no longer speak for the law.
Indeed you don't, but I do. And well, I can't help but be moved by your dedication to your friend. I have to agree with Verity.
Speaking of the law, it seems there is one other we must arrest.
Yes, I almost forgot. Miles. What are you talking about? Mr. Edgeworth was just doing his job. He didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't doing squat. By which I mean to say, unfortunately, Miles is no longer serving in any kind of official capacity.
You went too far this time, Mr. Edgeworth. You conducted an unlawful investigation. Worse, you aided and abetted the flight of a suspect. You are no longer even an ex-prosecutor. You are a criminal, nothing more.
Oh, that reminds me. There was supposed to be a hearing today, wasn't there? Concerning your conduct. I'll make sure it's officially rescheduled for tomorrow. Although, I fear I already know the outcome. Look at this as an opportunity to reflect on your actions, Miles. A chance to really think long and hard.
This court is adjourned. To be continued. Oh. Okay. Things are getting real, intense here. So, Miles is not only, I see the preview picture is the jail cell from, case 2. Great. So yeah, Miles is in big trouble. Let's see what happens next. April 6th, detention center. Holding cell. Never thought I'd spend another night in here again. And they stripped me of all the evidence we'd so painstakingly gathered. Even if they did let me keep Kay's Yatagarasu pin. I can't help but worry about her. They'd better be treating her well. Right. She said it was her, because we just saw that. Yep. Yep. We definitely saw that. Yep. That's a major thing. I don't think I'd forget that. Even if I saved and took a break and came back. Come on, let's go. You've got a visitor. A visitor? Who? Someone by the name of Dick Gumshoe? Want me to send him away? The guard doesn't know him? No, I'm not sure what to even say to him. April 6th, detention center, visitor's room. Wait there. They're leaving me unsupervised? Forgive the intrusion. Oh. Judge Gavell? Please, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a seat. What are you doing here? I was told it was Detective Gumshoe. I imagined you wouldn't come if you knew it was me. What could she possibly want from me now? I suppose I'd better find out. Oh, okay. You want to look at my Yatagarasu pen? Miss Faraday is currently being interrogated about her involvement in the murder. You and the committee, you know what you're doing, don't you? You know that the wrongful arrest and persecution of an innocent person is beyond reprehensible. That's quite the slanderous remark. I would ask that you frame your outbursts with a little more care. Besides, she's not innocent. You merely wish that she is. You can't say that. You don't have conclusive proof. Nor do you have any conclusive proof to the contrary, so let's not retread this tired old topic again. She will go to trial, and the goddess will pass her judgment. There is nothing you can do to stop that. And there is nothing more to say on the subject. Instead, let us speak of the matter at hand. Alright. Your visit. You may not be aware of this, but you are only permitted to meet with specially approved visitors. So I'm to be treated like a dangerous criminal, am I? I suppose my reputation is rather plummeted. It has indeed. For you, of course, and your friends. That attorney and the other girl were raising quite the fuss earlier. Fender and Emma. I saw them launch some extremely heated words at one of the guards. No, you didn't. You may thank the goddess in that regard, for even she is too busy to deal with each and every infraction. They will not be punished for their bad behavior. Did you come here just to chit-chat with me? You must have a lot of time on your hands. Oh, speaking of which, Miss Von Karma is continuing the investigation where you left off. I just thought you would like to know. I figured you would be worried about how they were all doing. I had to admit it, but she read me like a book. Your motive, okay? Let's cut to the chase, Your Honor. Why are you really here? I'm here simply to talk, nothing more. There is something I wish to know about you. Me? Yes, who else? Objectively speaking, you are highly intelligent and quick-witted, and a born prosecutor at that. Please, Judge Gavell, your sarcastic praise is but salt on my wounds. But I sincerely mean every word, Mr. Edgeworth, and it is why I fail to understand you. Take this latest case, for example. You were up against the very committee itself. You had no hope of succeeding. Even a child could have seen that, and yet... I don't imagine the old me would have ever been so reckless. The old me had power, and because of that, I thought that justice was always on my side. Just as you and the committee believe now. But a certain person changed my mind. He made me reckon with my selfish and skewed sense of justice. That man? And once the scales had fallen from my eyes, I began to look at people differently. I saw that I was only able to be an effective prosecutor thanks to the efforts of those around me. Detective Gumshoe, the many investigative officers of the force, and even Kay. It changed me. The degree to which it changed me still surprises me to this day. I see. Thank you. I feel that perhaps I understand you a little better now. You? Understand me? I only doubt it. Someone who's so focused on forcing their idea of justice onto others can't possibly see what I see. Is that so? Is that what you truly believe? I will say one thing. This has been a very interesting conversation. That is all. Before I go, there is one remaining matter. I was asked to inform you that the date of your hearing has been confirmed. It will be held today, in the trial chamber. The committee sends its warmest regards. If that was all you had to tell me, you could have just sent a message. And entrust the goddess's words to another? That wouldn't do, now would it? Until then, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll see you again very shortly. I'd sure like to meet that man someday. I know, he sounds like a cool guy. Be cool if he was in one of these games at some point. They should have one of the games named after him. April 6th, Detention Center, holding cell. Okay. Oh, I can walk around now. Interesting. The window was barred with heavy steel. That reminds me of a movie I once saw. A prison inmate hatched a plot to escape by using a file to cut his cell bars. I won't be doing that, of course. For one thing, I don't have a file on me at the moment. What am I saying? I wouldn't do it even if I have one. Okay. There's a note on the wall next to the toilet. Sorry, we're currently out of toilet paper. Please make the necessary mental preparations before using the toilet. What sorts of mental preparations can one even make? That sounds horrifying. There's a menu here on the table. Seems the detainees are able to pay to have their meals brought to their cells. What looks good? Spaghetti and mac and cheese lunch. Add linguine for only $1. Basmati and brown rice special. For a limited time only, add regular white rice at no extra cost. Probably for the best that I'm not very hungry. I've barely spent any time in here, and I already feel my personal appearance slipping. I may have given up my badge, but I mustn't give up on myself. My collar, it's slightly creased. There. A tidy outside begets a tidy inside. Which is why it's more important now than ever to take care of myself. Alright, wait. Yeah, already saw all that. There's a poster in the corridor outside. We regret to announce that due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Die of Destiny? Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who were looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Did anyone really need an apology for the cessation of such a ridiculous idea in the first place? Yeah, that sounds rough. Alright, in the bed. A very basic bed. I can't say it was very comfortable to sleep on, however. I imagine Detective Gumshoe would sleep soundly on it nevertheless, loudly snoring all the while. I suppose we'll probably never get to work together again. But I don't have any regrets about the bed I've made. I will follow my own path to the end. Do I have another visitor? Kay! Oh, thank goodness you seem alright. That's a load off of my mind.
Oh, such a heartwarming scene. It's enough to make a grown man cry.
But you're still not your usual cheery... I mean, you have to stay positive, Kay. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I guarantee you didn't. No, you have to let it go. I'm the murderer. I know that now. But you're not. You can't be. Why don't you have any faith in yourself? How can I, Mr. Edgeworth? There is no me left to believe in. None at all. I don't think that's true. Before you lost your memory, we spent quite a bit of time together. And I dare say you left quite the impression on me. So you see, there's still plenty of you left. That's why I believe so much in your innocence. And why you should believe in yourself, too. Thank you. But I can't. It would just cause more pain for the both of us. Please, you have to forget her. Forget that, Kay. She's gone. Kay, no!
You remind me of my younger self, you know? So noble, so bold.
This is the justice you and the committee stand for?
Justice? I suppose you could call it that.
What is he up to? Why is he going to such lengths to control everything? I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong here. Is there some hidden agenda at play? Oh, this is no time to second-guess myself. If I'm gonna find out what it is, it's now or never.
Well then, my boy, I suppose I should be...
Wait! What? Why is the chairman so intent on seeing Kay charged with this murder? It doesn't make any sense. Instant chest dimension teleport. There must be some rhyme or reason to this madness.
Come now, Miles. I'm a busy, important man. Can't be wasting my precious time talking to you.
The only way out of our current predicament is through Chairman Winner. There's so much to ask and so little time. Let's start by trying to find out why he rushed to have Kay arrested so quickly. I can't just let this happen. I'm getting answers. It's the last thing I do. Mind chest commence. That's quick. Why the rush to arrest Kay? Why were you so keen to push through Kay's arrest? I've yet to hear a satisfactory explanation.
An explanation? I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
Don't give me that. You know exactly what I mean.
Tut tut. I advise you to moderate your tone, dear boy. Need I remind you of your position?
Bide my time. Let's see.
And suppose we did let your friend go free. What then,
What do you mean, what then?
Well, think how that would look, my boy. And who would have to take the blame? Me! That's who.
Bide my time.
You're right to keep your mouth shut. That way you won't say anything foolish.
Sorry, but I can't stay silent forever. Not while Kay's innocence is still in doubt.
You're breaking my heart. Oh, just look at this flood of tears spilling out. Please, just leave it all alone, will you? Things were coming along nicely until you interfered.
Wait, coming along nicely? Coming along nicely? That's a pretty strange way of putting it. It's almost as if you wanted Kay's arrest to happen. It certainly doesn't sound like the statement of an impartial representative of the law. We blew one up instantly, wow.
You think so? Well, that wasn't my intention. Has it occurred to you that you might just be overthinking things a little?
Chairman Winter certainly knows how to dodge a question. But it doesn't change the fact that serious doubts remain concerning Kay's arrest. Next, we need to press him on whether he really believes the investigation was sufficient. We can't allow any of his statements to go unexamined, no matter how trivial they may seem. One of them may just give us the breakthrough we need. How much time did you spend investigating? How much time was spent on your investigation altogether?
Well, now, let's see. You know what? I'm not sure I can remember.
And I'm sure you can. You won't bluster your way out of this one.
It's not bluster, my boy. I honestly don't recall. It's a problem when you get to my age, you see. Why, I even forget my own son's name sometimes.
Never mind your fool of a son. Answer me. How long did you spend on the investigation? Love it. You're fool of a son.
You're right, of course. The boy's a fool. I never meant for him to grow up like that, but... Oh, woe was me.
He's only too happy to derail the conversation no matter where I take it. I have to force him to take this seriously. Let's try another tack for now. You were the one calling... Kay is innocent? Let's try that. Kay is innocent.
No, my boy. That's just clumsy. Anyone can blurt out a baseless assertion like that. Even a disgraced superstar prosecutor.
It's no good. I don't have enough information to take this any further just yet. But my chance will come. I'll just have to be ready when it does. You can hardly say your investigation was sufficient, and you're the one who called all the shots, weren't you? Including the decision to have Kay arrested.
Oh, ho, ho. I'm afraid I'm nowhere near as influential as you think, dear boy.
You're the chairman of the committee. It doesn't get much more influential than that. Not that I care about such things.
You wound me. It's enough to drive an old man to tears.
You'll have to forgive me. I'm not the deferential type.
Well, if you're gonna insist on being so blunt, then I'm afraid you won't be seeing your prosecutor's badge again anytime soon.
I don't need that badge anyway. No, let's bide my time. Let's see.
Nothing more to say? Wonderful. Then I'll be on my way.
Nope. It seems the silent treatment won't work every time. Alright. Can't just let this happen. I'm getting answers. If it's the last thing I do. Alright, so we get all the way to this point, and then... I don't need that badge anyway. Let me make something clear once and for all. That badge isn't the be-all, end-all for me. Far from it. I'm not concerned with titles or roles. Even you must understand that much.
So young, so very young. A word of advice, Miles, from somebody who's been around the block. You're hopelessly naive, my boy. Idiotically slow.
Well, that certainly got under his skin. He might be less guarded in his answers while he's in this state. Now's my chance. How much time have you spent investigating? Yeah.
My, you really don't give up, do you? But even my patience has its limits, you know.
What a coincidence. So does mine. Now answer the question. Do you believe that your investigation was sufficient or not?
The youth these days are one to be reckless. Makes me want to put you in your place. You're gonna regret that, my boy.
No, I'm putting you in your place. I'd like to see you try. Let's bide my time. Let's see.
Well, maybe you do know your place after all. What's the matter? Scared? Ho, ho, ho.
Hardly. I was just thinking about how best to proceed. Getting answers from the elderly requires sensitivity. They can get quite emotional after all.
You have no common sense whatsoever, do you? Don't you understand? Your fate rests in my hands.
I don't... Let's bide my time, because he's still doing the burning thing.
Let's say you do manage to get some answers from me. There's nothing you can do with them. So, why not give it up, dear boy?
No.
And why not?
It's simple, because I'm not about to let the truth escape me.
Interesting. I think I'm beginning to see what makes you tick. But what you're doing is pointless. Tragically and miserably pointless. Please, just give up. She's guilty. The decision has been made.
Wait, what? The decision has been made? Once again, your choice of words intrigues me. It's almost as if Kay's guilt had already been determined from before her arrest.
What are you trying to imply?
That you planned to have her arrested. I'm implying that things haven't gone as they normally should. In fact, everything is proceeded as if Kay's arrest was the end goal, right from the start. Well, Chairman Winner, was it?
That's certainly an intriguing theory. But it's also a complete work of fiction. And I'm afraid I don't have time for such flights of fancy. I think it's time we brought this shabby little farce to an end, don't you?
No, he's trying to make his escape. We must confirm the legality of Kay's arrest before he slips away. I mean, he could just turn around and leave. How is mind chess even real? You just close your eyes, and you're not in the chess dimension anymore. It's faint, but the truth is finally beginning to emerge. And I'm not about to let this opportunity pass me by. I still have question. No, Kay is innocent. Kay is innocent. Nope. Oh, nope, that's not it? Okay. I still have questions. Wait, we're not done yet.
I'm tired of all this talking, so make it brief, will you?
Who gave the order? What grounds did you have? Based on everything I've heard from you so far, it's clear that Kay's arrest is entirely unfounded.
Yes, I think we're all familiar with this particular refrain of yours by now. But I'm afraid it doesn't matter either way. You don't have what it takes to secure her release anyhow.
How dare you take this so lightly as a man of the law?
My, aren't you a rude little boy? But my fuse is only so long.
Bide my time because he's mad.
Let's see. Honestly speaking, I don't have the time to waste on every last question you can dream up. I have certain responsibilities to attend to, you know? I really am quite the busy man.
Or are you just pretending to be busy?
That's an awful thing to say to a fragile old man. I work harder than I should at my age. I ask you, my boy, what could I even hope to accomplish by putting up such a pretense?
You're hoping to avoid talking about the case, yeah. You obviously don't want to talk about the case anymore. That's why you're so keen to get out of this conversation, isn't it?
It's just so tragic, it really is, that you would suspect me of such things.
It's not a suspicion, it's a certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base Kay's arrest, for a start.
Now, my boy, let's not get carried away. There was plenty of evidence to support our case. The mask, the letter, the corsage, they were all in her possession. And of course, her confession. More than enough to prove her guilt, I'd say.
But those are...
What's the matter? Struggling to come up with a way to explain everything away?
Bide my time, he's doing his lighter.
Well, there we have it. Your silence speaks volumes.
It's true I can't counter your argument right now, but you did let something valuable slip. A suspiciously detailed knowledge of the evidence against Kay. He rattled off that list like he knew it inside out. I think that might prove to be a valuable clue. Alright, Kay is innocent. Alright, anyone can blurt out. Wait, what? Oh. We still have questions then? Tired, okay. Who gave the order? Who gave the order? Who decided that Kay should be arrested?
You know, I can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old, Miles, my boy. It wreaks havoc on your memory.
Time to deploy my clue. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop playing the old man card. You remember the details of the evidence against Kay pretty clearly. Perhaps if your memory didn't fail you only when it was convenient, I'd be more inclined to believe you. So let me ask you again, who gave the order for Kay's arrest?
You're a sharp one, I'll give you that. My son could learn a thing or two from you. If he wasn't such an incurable numbskull, that is. It's a tragedy, really.
I don't want to hear about your son. I want to know who authorized the arrest.
You're very mean. You know that, don't you? Oh. The arrest, you say? I believe the order was given by...
You, of course. Come now, Chairman Winner. We both know it was you.
All right, you got me. You make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though. But I have a reputation to uphold, so I guess I'd better clear up this little misunderstanding. I'll entertain your questions for a few more minutes. Let's see if I can put your mind at ease.
The key thing to do now is to establish how intimately he knew the details of the case. I just have to ask the right questions. Here we go. The endgame is at hand. We're but a few moves away from the truth. Tell me what you know about Kay. You seem to know an awful lot about the case. Let's see that. You seem to know the case in quite some detail.
I know about lots of things, my boy. I'm just smart like that.
Too bad the same can't be said about the way you handled Kay's arrest. Bye. He's lighting.
I'm a very busy man. Do try to remember that I can bring this little chat to an end whenever I so choose.
It's only taking so long because you won't give me a straight answer to any of my questions. If only you'd stop giving me the runaround, we'd be done already. So let's try this again. You seem to know the details of the case quite intimately. Why is that?
Because I read the case file. Not exactly the most thrilling use of my time, of course, but it's part of my job. I have to be a good role model. I can't be seen to be slacking. It can be so hard. But I had some time on my hands, so I read the whole thing from cover to cover.
But you keep saying how busy you are. That's strange. I could have sworn you just told me you're a very busy man. I'd say the cracks are finally starting to show, wouldn't you? If you're so keen on being an upstanding leader, you can start by releasing Kay, you know.
You really don't give up, do you? It's a moving sight, my boy. But a tragic one, too. After all, your efforts are for naught. I'm afraid your little friend was found unconscious near the scene of the crime.
Did you see exactly where she was found? We have yet to hear much about the circumstances under which Kay was found. She was lying unconscious in the storeroom, correct? I can leave the dimension anytime I want. I just don't want to right now. That's right. Yeah, nobody gets out of the chess dimension that easily, buddy.
That's right. Although I'm not at liberty to tell you how I know that.
He knows things even we didn't. In fact, he seems to be aware of every tiny detail about this case. This could be a valuable clue. Tell me what you know about Kay. The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her, exactly?
I know that she's the suspect. Aside from that, not much else. Cross my heart, but it's true.
Time to deploy my clue. Sorry, but the more you tell me, the less sense your story makes. For one thing, you know details that even those investigating the scene were not aware of. Why is that? Just how much do you really know, Chairman Winner?
Oh, there's that intimidating face you like to make again. Well, two can play this game. How do you like me now?
Bide my time. When he gets fired up, he wants to talk.
I do have to commend you on your doggedness. It really is something.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Take it however you like, but wrap this up, will you? I just don't have the stamina anymore. She's the culprit, the only possible suspect. Just accept that already. How much more evidence did you want us to load her down with, for goodness sake?
Load her down with? Load her down with? Yet another interesting turn of phrase. One that makes it sound a lot like the items Kay was carrying might have been foisted upon her.
Impressive. You really do pay attention, don't you? It's no wonder they used to call you a prodigy, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. I think you know the answer to your own question by now. Why don't you just go ahead and say it? I want to hear it from you.
It's finally time to shed light on the truth. All that's left is to play one last move. Kay is innocent. Kay is innocent.
No.
Alright. Time to deploy my clue. Kay was framed. The true culprit set it all up so she would take the fall instead. That is my answer, and I won't let you deny it any longer. Oh. He set his beard on fire.
Oh, my. You really are a sharp one. It's a bit of a shame you chose to hand in your badge. I admit it. You're right on all accounts.
And that's checkmate. Alright. You knew Kay wasn't the real murderer, and yet you still had her arrested. What's worse, you thought you could get away with it. Well, you won't! Not if I can help it!
There you go with that naivete again, my boy. I guess that was always your problem. With the girl arrested and a conviction secured, this whole mess goes away. And that's what will happen.
But whose interests does a conclusion like that serve?
The committee's, I suppose. And mine? You know, listening to you just now, well, it really got the tears flowing, I have to say. It was poignant and heartfelt and sincere and utterly infuriating. Look, I'm not perfect, I know that, but your lack of sophistication in these matters is beyond the pale. You insist that the truth is more important than anything else. But would you say the same if you knew what the real value of the truth is?
What are you trying to say?
When you get to my level, you don't uncover the truth. You make it, little by little. Kay Faraday, murderer. That's the truth. The truth I created. Yes, my boy. That's what I like to see. You're so sincere sometimes it's painful. It just makes me want to put you in your place. Knowing the real truth will get you nowhere. Because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. Shocking, I know.
But why not go after the real killer? How much do you even know about what really happened?
You're still not getting it. That's your truth. And it is worthless. Mine is all that matters. You understand what I'm saying, don't you, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I have all the power here.
Curse you!
Well, aren't you menacing? You and your little friend are just as bad as each other. Violent criminals who deserve to be locked up.
You'll pay for this!
And with that, yet another person disappears from my life. Oh, it just makes me want to cry, cry, cry.
Oh. Wow. He's a bad dude. I'm not planning to disappear just yet, Chairman Winner. There's still the hearing later today. Just you wait, one way or another. I'll prove Kay's innocence to the world then. Why is Kay here at the hearing? I don't really recognize any of these people. I like that Gavel is wearing a unique outfit. Everyone else is just totally generic. April 6, 8:30 a.m., the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence Chamber.
10 members, over a majority, are present. I hereby call this hearing to order. We are gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Here in the sight of the goddess, we do solemnly swear to pass fair and frank judgment.
Fair and frank? Don't make me laugh.
Verity, if you would be so kind as to summarize the case against Mr. Edgeworth.
On April 5th, despite having been advised of the illegality of an investigation he was conducting, the accused refused to desist, and eventually had to be detained by myself and Chairman Winner. His actions compromised the investigation into the murder of a certain defense attorney, and despite having been presented with copious evidence of her guilt, he continues to insist that the suspect, 1K Faraday, is innocent of all charges.
Perhaps you could explain the details of the murder to us as well?
Of course. On the morning of the 5th, the body of the victim was found here in the committee chamber. Further explanation will be provided by me, Eustace Winner, Premier Prosecutor. The floor is yours, Mr. Winner. The murder itself happened late on the night of the 4th. The victim was Miss Rosie Ringer. That same night, an illicit auction was being held here in this very room. Ringer took part in the auction, I think. Yeah. Meaning that the murder took place sometime during the auction. When she was found, Ringer was dressed in an outfit that matched the description of the auctioneers. However, due to the fact that the auction carried on after the murder had occurred, I deduced that Ringer was not, in fact, the auctioneer. You deduced nothing of the sort. And what about the basis on which the suspect was detained, Mr. Winner? Yeah, I got this. So, Faraday was overcome by crushing remorse, Eustace. Yeah, that. Tons of crushing remorse. So, she confessed. According to her confession, she was on the roof of this building when she encountered a person in a red raincoat on the viewing platform.
And that person was Miss Ringer, I take it?
Precisely, Mr. Chairman. The killer dressed the victim in the auctioneer's outfit after the fact. But at the time when she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat. And who won the race to find that raincoat nearby? Me! That's who. Did you? I thought it was somebody from forensics. Strictly speaking, it was found by one of the forensic investigators under Mr. Winner's command. Yeah, okay. I knew it. The blood analysis on the coat showed that it was indeed Miss Ringer who had worn it, and the suspect's confession was the final nail in the coffin. She confirmed having committed the murder. So as you can see, Kay Faraday was the killer. There's no way anybody else could have done it.
All right, Miles. I expect you have some objections. Let's get him out of the way, shall we?
I have no objections, Chairman Winner.
Well now, is that so? I thought it would have taken more than a single night in detention to break.
No objections in the matter of my unauthorized investigation, that is. Oh man, he got him. But in the matter of Miss Faraday's supposed guilt, I have plenty. I can personally attest to the fact that Mr. Winner's investigation was fair and impartial. Yeah, of course it was. When it comes to carefully conducted ops, I'm the winner every time.
You know, Miles, it's within my power to offer you a plea deal of sorts. If, and this is purely hypothetical, of course, you were to withdraw your objections, you might wake up tomorrow to find yourself the proud owner of a seat on this committee. So I ask you again, do you have any objections, Mr. Edgeworth?
Man, that's brazen. Just going straight to like, hey, if you go along with our narrative, I'm going to just give you your badge back and make you a member of this committee. If you think you can buy my silence, think again. You will watch your mouth. Only if the chairman watches his. I didn't come here to talk about committee seats. I came here to talk about the murder case. I demand a statement under oath, and I won't rest until I have one. I won't rest until I've said everything about every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. I want to know exactly what the committee's view on the incident is.
You want to put us on trial, my boy? Very well, if it'll make you happy. Verity, please provide Mr. Edgeworth with the materials pertaining to the case.
Really? But, sir...
This will be his last hurrah. So let's humor him with the send-off he desires.
If you say so, Mr. Chairman. Evidence data received from Judge Gavell. All right.
You have no objections to Verity representing the committee, I assume?
None whatsoever. Mr. Edgeworth. Don't worry, Kay. Everything will be fine. You'll see. The committee's view of the case. Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale, so our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof. After she'd emerged out into the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view of the case. The raincoat was on offer that night? Is that really true? We believe so, yes. You remember that failed assassination attempt on the president of Jingfa, I assume? The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility. But our inquiry has revealed that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances, and wound up in the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose.
Wonderful work, Verity, just wonderful. Crystal clear as always.
You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat. I'll do no such thing, thank you very much. Very well. It's good to know that you still have some fight in you. It is? Why? Come to think of it, she said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? Alright. Miss Ringer. Okay. In other words, a member of the committee was actively involved in the illegal evidence trade. It is unfortunate. I don't know what else to say.
And of course, we'll be looking into any such activities just as soon as this hearing is over and done with.
I commend your decision to pursue the matter further, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, don't be silly, Verity. It's the least we can do, really. Not that it's any of your business, Miles. Not anymore. If only you had remained a prosecutor. But you didn't. Now, if we're quite done making an old man cry over this whole sad affair...
Very well. Allow me to continue. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale. So the raincoat really was one of the auction lots? That's correct. I believe it originally belonged to a Mr. Shelley DeKiller.
Considering its status as a piece of evidence, it's the only logical conclusion.
It's from when he made his attempt on the president's life. There was an unexplained mannequin standing amongst the other items on sale. It could well have been used to display the coat prior to the auction. Do we know how the items were being smuggled in? That is still under investigation, and is entirely unrelated to the matter at hand, especially considering that you will soon officially be a prosecutor, no longer Mr. Edgeworth. It sounds like the outcome of this hearing is a foregone conclusion. No surprises there. My personal circumstances aren't important right now. Please, continue, Your Honor. As I was saying, the raincoat was one of the items up for sale. My assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction. Why did she leave so soon after making her purchase? Because of the auction house rules. Winning bidders are expected to pay for their items immediately. Miss Hart told us pretty much the same thing. Miss Ringer, having paid for the raincoat, probably left immediately afterwards in accordance with the rules. The exit from the storeroom room was, of course, the hatch. Okay. Miss Ringer was a member of the committee. Could she not have left the committee chamber via the main door? While the auction was still underway, that would risk exposing its existence to those outside the trusted circle of attendees. Given that Miss Hart found out about it, I think its existence is already well and exposed. The rules of the auction stated that attendees would enter and leave via the hatch in the roof. Miss Ringer had no reason not to follow those rules. And given where the murder took place, we know that she must have done so. She emerged, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. But why? What possible motive could Kay have had? That is exactly what we're hoping to establish in our upcoming interviews with Miss Faraday. Coercive interrogation after the fact. Something you seem to specialize in. If the murderer knew that the attendees would all be leaving via the hatch, then the roof would have been the perfect place to lie in wait. So as I was saying, after she'd emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked. Thereafter, the flame went out, and this concludes. Her flame went out. The flame of her life, Mr. Edgeworth, though perhaps her flame was stolen from her is more apt. But the candelabrum that extinguished her life was one of the auction lots, meaning Kay had no way of getting a hold of it to begin with. Miss Faraday could have not have lain in wait for the victim without knowing of the storeroom's existence. She could easily have snuck down the ladder and stolen it while the auction was underway. If only we knew where the candle holder was during the auction. That would surely clear the matter up, no? Well, either of you? Sadly, we don't have anything that could tell us that much on that front at the moment. Forgive me, sir. This is something we are hoping to establish through further investigation. Well, isn't that a shame, Miles, my boy? It seems this line of inquiry is something of a dead end then, isn't it? So their theory is that the victim and their killer met on the roof, and that's where the murder took place. In other words, it assumes the viewing platform was the scene of the crime. But is that really the case? I thought I had evidence that clearly shows the story of what happened that night. Time to double check. Alright, let's see. So we've gone through everything. Winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was the hatch. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view. Coming from behind and pushing her off the building. Right. Okay, the picture. So let's see. One by the victim whose fingerprints and blood were found in the hood. So it's covered in dirt and cherry blossoms. Okay. Elevator blood. Blood was detected on the secret elevator. It looks like it dripped through to the floor below. Closed box, right. Committee chamber blood. Alright, let's look at this one again a little bit more. So there's the mannequin, and then there is somebody who has blood on their hands. Photo taken just after the incident by Lotta Hart, who had snuck into the storeroom. The ringleader and an auction attendee came up in the elevator. A scream was heard not long after. So that one, that one's weird to me. Because, like, yeah, I don't know about this one. So, let's see. Yeah, this one's weird. Hang on. What? Let's go back for a second. After she emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. So I think the fact that this here shows blood on the hands is a contradiction because this person had bloody hands already. So let's present that. Maybe you can clear something up for me, Miss Judge Gavelle. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? She is an eyewitness. I thought it would be obvious. Well, now, I ain't really an eyewitness. More of a ear witness, I guess. She's not exactly the most confidence-inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? I'd like to think I choose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth. Then you should question them more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the storeroom, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom, just before she took this picture. Oh, wait! You're saying Gavelle got it wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. What? Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night. You saw the person in the picture, correct? I sure did. Clear as day with my own two eyes to boot. And what were your impressions at that point? My impressions? This right here is the scoop of the century. Something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. I was hoping more for your impressions of the person in question. Oh, that there's a walking meal ticket? Seriously? Just my little joke. Don't you look at me like I done set on your lunch. Old red raincoat, right? Well, I took one look and I thought, that's our perp right there. And therein lies the rub. For Miss Hart to have thought such a thing means that the murder occurred. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when will you learn to use your words? If it's an explanation of the facts that you require, you need only ask, you know. What do you mean? I assume you're about to raise the issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. Voices that may be unrelated. Unrelated? You can do better than that! Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really even Miss Ringer's? You're kidding me, right? Them folks was talking crime-related turkey. My name ain't Lotta Danged Hart. Ah, but did you hear them clearly? Well, can't rightly say for sure, but... Gah, I can't rightly say nothing and you know it. They was using voice changers. I done told y'all that. Precisely. His heart heard voices, but those voices were disguised. Which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder. You don't need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr. Edgeworth. I love it. It seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavelle. Nonsense! Verity's the best of us, my boy. The very best. And yet she believed that what Miss Hart heard might not have anything to do with the murder. Even supposing that that's the case, it doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up to the roof. That much we can say for certain. And I can tell you why. This proves that the incident happened before the victim went up to the roof. Yeah, it was what I went on, the bloody hands. We initially thought that the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Yes, because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us about the blood she saw in this person's hand. And I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of the blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack. But now, it tells us something very important about the victim, too. This picture tells us that the victim struck the killer, survived the attack, was the ringleader. Survived the attack? Maybe? Struck the killer. I could see that possibly being because of the blood, but I think because we know there was an attack, but they survived. There's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom, but here we have photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Miss Ringer survived the attack. The blood in her hand is from the wounds she had sustained. What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound? The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winner. I imagine she had used her hand to try and staunch a wound. That's right. While it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here.
Oh, well, that certainly would change things, wouldn't it?
It very much would, not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken, after the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition. I put it to you that all Kay witnessed was the victim finally succumbing to her wounds. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, that or pretending to not remember it.
What? What fact am I forgetting?
I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Put the boy out of his misery.
Dad, Gavelle works for me! Why do you keep giving her orders? That's my job!
You really are a total and utter embarrassment.
I am not!
I hate to break it to you, but you both are.
Get to it, Gavelle! Put Edgeworth out of his misery? As you wish. Oh, there's more. Okay. What you're forgetting. Well, hang on. I'm going to take a real quick break and be right back, and then we'll resume this. Alright, let's keep going. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest. And we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's right, they're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. If you care to read the coroner's report, I'm sure you would change your tune. Nicely done, Gavelle! Now Edgeworth will have to... Make several objections? Yes. I'm afraid I will. What? Why? Weren't you listening? Oh, I was listening. Very carefully, in fact. Hence, my objections. Come on! Why do you always have to undermine me? That's never my intention, I assure you. It isn't? Because you do it so well yourself. every single time already. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that because I'm...
Please, Eustace, just stop, for goodness sake. You've already embarrassed me enough.
Huh? What do you mean, Dad? Poor guy. All right, what you're forgetting. Was found. All right. Hold it. 3 wounds. That can't have been pleasant. Yes. Which is why we must see that the perpetrator of this cruel act pays for their sins. I don't listen to her, Kay. She's just trying to scare you. If we could please continue on, Judge Gavel. Very well. As I was saying, there were 3 wounds. Let's see, and we all know what those wounds are from. I do, but perhaps we should ask Mr. Winner. He does, I'm sure. Don't you, Eustace?
Who, me? Oh, you bet I do. I know this case inside out.
Who does he think he's fooling?
Eustace, my boy, make an old man happy. And at least glance at the coroner's report, would you?
Sure. Let's see. Yada yada. 3 puncture wounds, blah blah. Candle holder.
No way, that's what they used?
Crazy. Precisely. The wounds were inflicted just as Eustace says. Oh boy. That's right, they're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum.
No.
Hang on a second. Are you arguing what I think you're arguing? Hang on. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in her chest, and we all know what those wounds are from, don't you? That's right, that's from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed Oh, hang on a second. Wait. So... Alright. So... Definitely, there's 3 wounds in this coat. Yes? And we got the bloody hand there. But hang on a second. There's a problem here because the raincoat they found doesn't have... Is she... Okay, she's trying to argue that she was stabbed fatally while she was wearing the red raincoat, right? So they're saying in this picture it's her fatally wounded. But the raincoat doesn't have 3 puncture wounds or puncture holes in it, so that can't be correct, right? Because if it was, then yeah. So I think I want to present this. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Chairman Winner, you know what this is, of course.
The red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity?
Yes, sir. The one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here. Well, I'm afraid I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Gavel. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat. But do you remember where exactly they were found? Of course, they were found on the hood and... No.
What's the matter, Verity?
The hood end was found anywhere else on the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood. That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we concede this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. That is quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. I have to admit, you have me intrigued. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction with some evidence? Which piece of evidence best demonstrates the contradiction the order of the injuries revealed? Let's see. Cause of death, stab wounds to chest, head injury sustained post-mortem? It's this, right? This is Dr. Hertz's preliminary findings, according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. But the order suggested by the bloodstains on the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee chamber with all due haste. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll go fetch her at once.
Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. I doubt she will be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there's another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case. The so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they?
Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh?
Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't know... still don't know even the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet. But there is someone involved with the case that I can name. I suspect that at the very least, they might be able to point us in the right direction. And that's... Chairman Winner. I demand that you testify as to what you know. What? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad? You would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee? Do you understand the implications of such an act? I don't care who or what he is. We're talking about the truth here. And about a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, corsage, ticket stub, and everything else. The items Kay was carrying when she was found. They were deliberately placed in her possession somehow by Chairman Winner himself. A shocking accusation, and one I find hard to believe. But, for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing? To cast suspicion on Kay, of course. Why else? I even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Chairman Winner, your rebuttal, please. I think the good chairman might be in shock.
So what if I did?
Huh?
Did you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much? But where's your proof, With no witnesses to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell us that you have something more to base your outburst on?
He still has the arrogance he showed back at the detention center, and yet... Mr. Edgeworth, I am going to have to ask you to explain yourself. If that's all right, Mr. Chairman.
Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea that I'm some sort of criminal. Because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself.
He has a lot of nerve acting all innocent like that. Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hollowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion. A location that should, by rights, only be accessible to members of the committee. Yeah, they all have keycards to the room, after all. Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there can be only one winning explanation. That's right, Mr. Winner. That the auctioneer is a member of the committee. Well, no! What on earth is wrong now?
What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hands! Oh, you did indeed, you utter nitwit. But Miles, my boy, you do realize that you've cast quite the wide net with your explanation.
That's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether. 10 given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing. 10 potential suspects in total.
Well, it certainly isn't me. And it can't be the chairman, can it?
Whoever it is, speak up right now.
Calm down, all of you, please. Well, Miles, is that all the proof you've got against me? You're very quiet all of a sudden, but it's too late to back out now. You accused the former chief prosecutor and current committee chairman of a crime. I would tell you to prepare for the worst, but there's no preparing for what you're about to face.
Oh, okay, we're going in on him now then. Know your place.
You've been forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I hardly even remember. But you needn't have bothered, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she did it. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it. So rejoice! And there you have it. Feel free to pick holes in it as you see fit.
How can I, when that was barely a testimony to begin with? That man, he's a very powerful person, isn't he? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, just let it go. I did it. I'm the murderer. I even remember doing it. You saw a flash of something half-remembered, Kay, nothing more. If you must believe in something, believe me when I say you should believe in your own innocence instead. Believe in the me who believes in you, literally. But I'm up against the head of the committee here. This isn't going to be easy. But he seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I can use that against him. Alright. You've been... okay, forcing us over... okay. Even if the broad strokes are correct, it doesn't make something true.
Oh, don't be such a stick in the mud. I'd say the bigger picture is more than enough here. After all, every case has its little inconsistencies and contradictions. If we let ourselves get bogged down in every single one, we'd never make any arrests. And once we did, the trials would drag on forever. Even you understand that, right?
Not in the slightest, hence my inquiry into the details.
Oh, to be so young and pig-headed. Oh, anyway, you keep digging into these little details.
When the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries. It seemed to recall the ringleader's identity and the faulty coroner's report being critical points of contention.
Yes, I was listening, my boy, but critical is a matter of opinion.
How can you possibly suggest that such fundamental issues are not important? Perhaps it is your ability to make sound judgments that should be on trial here today.
Oh, bravo, my young hothead. Wonderfully cutting stuff. You do like to try, though, don't you?
But you needn't have bothered because it's all irrelevant. There's no way any of what we discussed today is irrelevant, not unless you intend to bury the truth.
But none of it is relevant, dear boy. The only reason you keep trying to make it relevant is because otherwise you're up a creek without a paddle.
Think about it, the suspect herself has already said she did it, right? Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. Kay is suffering from amnesia, so any statement she makes should be taken with at least a grain of salt. Oh.
Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it, dear boy?
That's his first objection sound.
And it would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I tell you what, why don't we ask her one last time? Though I'm sure she'll just say she did it again.
Fine, let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Huh? You mean me? Is this really what you want, Mr. Edgeworth? If it goes badly, it could significantly weaken your position. I know, but there's no other way. I only request that I be the one to question her.
You really know how to tug at an old man's heartstrings, you know? But fine, ask away. On one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. We'll call the proceedings to an end then and there. Agreed?
Call the proceedings to an end? You mean the hearing?
Yes, dear boy, that's right. Perhaps you aren't a complete muddlehead after all. Now, just so we're clear, if we ask again and all that happens is the girl confirms her guilt, she is officially declared guilty on the spot. Yes, that sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself.
That's it? You just declare her guilty just like that?
That's the gist of it.
It's a big risk, but he's going to find a way to condemn her either way if we don't do something. Kay.
Yes?
I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything else about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Why? Why are you still fighting it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's no use. I can't be of help to you. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to try and remember anymore. What if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. Please, just accept it. The Kay you thought you knew is a dangerous criminal. Criminal who let you down and betrayed your trust. Don't worry, Kay. You have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for very long, but I know you well enough. And right now, I'd say I know you better than you know yourself. You would never commit a murder. You could never. Because this is who you really are. It's half of the evidence bar. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, so if you had messed up at all, you would auto-fail if you didn't present this right. I think part of it is because it's, it's clearly the broken plushie. I mean, it's clearly the Gem and Ninja mask, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and present. Actually, the right Yatagarasu pin. Duh. You're the great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. I can't do it. I'm sorry, because all I can see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it. No, the only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? No, it's not that. You're trying so hard to help me, and you're risking so much for me. It's too much. You have to stop, I'm begging you. Ah, so that's what's going on. I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into accepting your fate is because of me, isn't it? Which exactly what the K I know would have done. You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not. And I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So you see, I've merely been servicing my own ego, regardless of what I put you through. Now, let's try this again. See the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief you truly are. That memory of you committing the murder? You need to question it with all you have. That's all I ask. So please, do it for me. Oh! Kay! What's wrong? Did you remember something?
Oh, it'd be like some cliche movie plot if she did.
A cow. What?
A cow?
Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details?
Well, Kay? What can you tell us about this cow?
I remember now. The person in the red raincoat. She had it in her hand. A stuffed cow! I can see it so clearly now.
Are you sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain?
Yes, I'm sure.
Then this court acknowledges the defendant's latest statements as new testimony. Now, have you lost your mind, Verity? We can't accept testimony like this! With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victims and their possessions is new and highly relevant evidence. Need I remind you of the addled state of her memory? No! No! This simply won't do!
Addled? But if we claim her memory is unreliable now, then our own argument is weakened, sir. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves with the final details, did you not? Were we to call the validity of their memories into question, then we must also call into question the confession on which our entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action?
Yes, you're right. Proceed as you see fit, then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth, and only thanks to Judge Gavel's intervention. It's almost as if she was on our side for a second.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, the stuffed animal?
I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom, and we believe it is yet another auction lot.
Wait, that's... Do you know something, Gavel?
No, it's just not what I imagined. I suppose it is a rather odd thing for the victim to have been carrying. I should look it over more carefully. There's that, the missing horn.
The left horn is missing.
This hole. It looks like that's where the horn would have gone.
But that doesn't look like stuffing in there. So what is it?
Let's take a look at the rest of this toy and see what else we can find. Let's see. The right horn seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for the overall symmetry of this stuffed toy.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it moves.
It does?
What? It sounds like sand being crushed?
It would seem there is a recording device hidden inside.
I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself? I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge.
Ah!
Could this be the moment of the murder? And someone made a recording of it?
Oh, broken plushie. Alright.
Hey! That's them right there! Them's the voices I heard, sure as eggs is eggs! Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying when these voices are recording. It's possible they have nothing to do with the murder. If only there was some accompanying video footage. You got bugs in your ears or something, lady? I done told you. Them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, right? So it's gotta be from when she got. Yes, it is a possibility. But a weak one without more than your word to back it up. We need something more. Something credible.
We need?
Yet again, she seems to be stepping in to help, not stepping in help.
Judge Gavel, I think we all know the voices are from the moment of the murder. Consider for a moment the words we heard one of the speakers say.
I asked ChatGPT and eggs are in fact eggs.
Okay. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. I believe we have something that explain what those words are referring to and how it's all related. Which piece of evidence proves that the voices are from when the murder occurred?
Is it the coroner's findings? Because, like, because she has the burn on her hand, right? Because there's the burn right there.
Let's see. Let's present.
The coroner's preliminary findings. How do they prove anything?
Indeed, what on this page shows that the voices must be from the time of the murder? Cause of death is and the victim also suffered a prominent burn mark.
Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. The victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand.
And what of it?
According to Kay's testimony, the victim was carrying the stuffed cow toy. And a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording it captured. It's just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time, right? I'm not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder. In which case, one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit. And based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we hear the most. But that still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity, or even if they're male or female. Due to the voice changers, correct. Unfortunate, but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We are now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. Just like I done told you they was. We can say something else now, too. Then let's hear it. That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Do as you wish.
According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, the two people came up to the storeroom from the committee chamber on the elevator. The ringleader and one of the auction attendees. It seems this was the point at which money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterward, and the auction carried on after that. All of which points to one key fact. What else does this latest revelation tell us? Miss Ringer was the killer? The ringleader was the killer. Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Hey, Gavel! Not right now, Eustace. There's a good boy. Oh, wow. There's a good boy. Treating him like he's a pet. And if they weren't the victim, then they can only have been the killer. A compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I am fully aware of that, Your Honor. It was merely warming up for the main event. There were certain traces left on the scene that seemed to suggest that the ringleader was the killer. Then please hurry up and show us. What is something that was placed in the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer? The flower? This evidence clearly shows that the ringleader was the murderer. It's not. I don't get it. No surprises there, but I'm sure the rest of the room will see what I'm getting at.
For once, I agree with my idiot boy.
How can that be? The ringleader was the killer. There's something they would have wanted to hide. Need to present a piece of evidence that suggests just that. Oh, it's the outfit. Okay, I was right, because, is it... Let's see. We will need to see some evidence to that effect, okay? I understand, about to show you just that. Okay. What is something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer? Well, okay, I'm of two minds on this, because I don't think she was wearing this outfit initially, because Lotta said that the ringleader, the auctioneer, was wearing this outfit. The ringleader's appearance. Wore a white jacket, white gloves, and a magenta flower and a mask. Age and gender could not be discerned. Right. The other thing is the committee chamber blood. Blood found in the committee chamber was placed there to hide the existence of the storeroom. I can see that too. So, yeah, again, I'm of two minds. I'm of the mind that it could be the ringleader's appearance, that they didn't want... Because if the ringleader is the killer, they would want to get out of this outfit and put it there to make her look like she was the ringleader. The other one, though, is that if the ringleader is the person using the committee chamber, then they would have wanted to hide the blood. So I could see either of those being correct. I feel like I'm going to go with this one. Let's see. Alright, I think, yeah. The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the goddess statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in this chamber. But it was simply a ruse, designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom. In order to conceal the existence of the underground auction, correct? Correct. If the culprit had nothing to do with the auction, they would have had no reason to cover up that blood. Which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer were one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do you have anyone you'd like to name? The auction is always held in this committee chamber, with its storeroom located just overhead. So at the very least, we know the murderous ringleader has some connection to the committee. Yeah. Hey, how you looking over there?
Yes, yes. And you suspect me, correct?
As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly be a surprise, right?
You're a fine prosecutor, that much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned already, you're also hopelessly naive. You've got nothing, dear boy, have you? No evidence whatsoever. Unless you've got something to share after all.
Do I have any evidence to show that Chairman Winter is the murderer? Do we? Wait, where's our stuff? I don't think so, because he hasn't been pointed to at all, except for us actually, like, with the mine chest stuff. Yeah, I mean, no, that doesn't really say anything. The letter... Don't worry, I'll make sure you get your precious thing back. That's not... No... I'm thinking it's one of those cases where you have to say I don't. So let's go ahead and say that. It was Chairman Winter himself who brought up the fact that I suspected him. And he seems so confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable. Which means he knows. He knows I have nothing.
Oh, well, Miles, my boy, time to pay the piper. Ah, I've always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Wait, dang it! I just remembered something!
Huh? Did you have amnesia too? No, it just done came to me. Flash of inspiration, you know how it is. Very well. Say your piece.
Objection. What are you doing, Verity?
Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear that he won't give up until every last lick of hope has been extinguished. So, extinguish we must, lest he try to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Yeah, what she said. I don't quite get it, but it sounded pretty cool. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Gavel bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are.
Fine, let's hear what this witness has to say.
You heard the chairman, Miss Hart. If you would be so kind.
Well, all right, then. Here goes nothing.
The facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth's my middle name. Color me officially worried. So, the ringleader's the killer, right? Which makes the victim one of them auction goers. Thing is, that don't add up. I counted 11 people coming down that hatch, see? Then the murder happened, and then the auction started back up again. Now, I had me a look back downstairs right after that. No. And when you know it, there were 11 little duckies all lined up in a row again. How? And you're sure of this, Miss Hart? Sure as sure can be, your gavel ship. Saw him with my own 2 peepers. So, 11 before the murder and 11 again right after means... Wait, that's a thingy!
A contradiction, Eustace. Do try to keep up.
Miss Hart, did nothing really change at all? I done told you already! They carried right on again like nothing even happened. Oh, except for... it wasn't nothing much, but... What is it? That little old mallet doodad. Can't have yourself an auction without one. Kinda like the one Missy over there's got, but different. The auctioneer's hammer. That's the bunny! Hey, that looks like the judge's. I done heard that thing banging and clanging right the way through, then nothing, just like that. So the noise of the hammer stopped midway through. Could it have something to do with the murder? Maybe. If what Miss Hart is telling us is true, we have something of a problem. Namely, that if the victim is neither the auctioneer nor one of the attendees, your entire theory cannot stand, Mr. Edgeworth.
Ugh. Chalk one up for justice! Eat that, Edgeworth!
See, Mr. Edgeworth, there really was nothing we could do. No, there must be something we're overlooking. Something we still don't have an explanation for. I just need to think. If I can't, Kay is...
All right, kids. Do we finally have all our answers now? If so, then I expect you to make good on...
Who is it? One moment, sir. Gavel again. I worry that it might still be a little early to pass judgment. After all, we have one more matter yet to resolve. And until we do, we cannot claim complete and total victory over Mr. Edgeworth. Huh? Is that not so, Mr. Edgeworth? Frankly, I expected you to have raised your voice by now. Allow to hold it, perhaps? Oh, yes, of course. And once again, she has rescued us from the jaws of defeat.
Very well, let's get this over with, shall we? What is this one matter that still remains?
Why, the contradiction in the coroner's report, sir.
That's...
I'm back with the witnesses, Your Honor. What's this all about? Why'd you call us back down here? Did somebody suddenly fall ill? I'll have a compress ready in 2 shakes of... Ouch! This better be good. Did somebody else drop dead? Well, they might soon wish they had. Dr. Hertz, Ms. Needler, thank you for coming on such short notice. Let me assure you, this won't take long. Quit trying to butter me up and cut to the chase, will ya? Of course. We summoned you here to confirm something. What is Judge Gavel up to? Dr. Hertz, this court asks that you provide the unabridged truth regarding the following. Did you stand by your preliminary findings? Can you vouch for their complete and total accuracy? Grandma doesn't make mistakes, ever. That's strange. Huh? What do you mean? In the course of this trial, an error was indeed found in her report. And so I ask again for the truth, Dr. Hertz. Did you alter, tamper with, or in any way falsify your findings? That's awful! How can you even say that? What are you asking me for? Why the heck would I want to do that? To help the true culprit, of course. As if I'd know anything about all that. I just know I didn't do anything of the sort. Then that seems doubly strange. What other explanation could there be for the discrepancy in your report? Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might have any thoughts on the matter. It's not like you to be coy, I must say. Why does she keep taking charge and helping me? I still don't know what she's trying to do, but I'll happily take what I can get. If everything was recorded accurately and then handed off to Mr. Winner according to protocol, then the report shouldn't contain any mistakes. Wait! For the record, I didn't do anything to the report! I guess we'll see, won't we? Dr. Hertz, perhaps we could begin with your side of the story. Why do we even need to? This is pointless. I'll be the judge of what's pointless, thank you very much. We have patients waiting back at the hospital. But Grandma, ouch! We don't really have time for this. Won't you please help us? I can't stress how important this is. Grandma says she'll testify. But could you please make it quick? If we're not back soon, people will suffer. And yet, you had no qualms about taking your time and buying cotton candy the last time we saw you. We'll let you go as soon as we can, I promise. Assuming you'll tell us the truth, that is. Right. I think we already established he didn't even read it, let alone tamper with it. Yeah, pretty much. The so-called mistake in the report. No way there's a mistake in Grandma's report. Not never. I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive, Sonny Jim. Me writing something wrong is about as likely as... Ouch! And what the heck do you think I'd stand to gain by doctoring a file, Don't make a lick of sense. And that's all she has to say. Nothing funky here.
See, it just as I thought. There's no chance the good doctor doctored her findings.
And you swear by the holy goddess that this testimony is true? Of course. Grandma's never told a lie in her...
Your opinions are not necessary, Nurse Needler. Your grandmother is the subject of this inquiry, not you.
Not necessary? That's not fair. I'm the only ally poor Grandma has. Go ahead and shout objection left and right, but you best be prepared then, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. Oh, I'm more than prepared. I'm ready to expose the truth behind the error in the report. Alright, the so-called mistake in the report. Alright. No way there's a mistake. Never. You're saying that Dr. Hertz is infallible? She has to be. A doctor can't afford to make mistakes. Even a veteran like Grandma would be out of a job if she messed up even once. So there's no way she of all people would... I got a whole hospital relying on me. Might be you can bungle your work and survive, mister, but I can't. See? I've been dealing with the dead longer than you've been alive. And you've really never made a single mistake in all that time? Doctoring's all about experience. The longer you've been at it, the better you get. If only the same were true of prosecuting. Chairman Winner would be the best in the business. But I think we can all agree that's not the case. Oh, you really are a devil, Miles. But you're also quite wrong. I've never once made a mistake either. After all, I have people to do that for me. I'm too busy for foul-ups. And luckily for me, I don't have to make them. Isn't having people just grand? Don't you go trying to make doctor and lawyer and around sound the same. They ain't nothing alike. Nothing alike, I tell you. Okay. Me writing something about it's wrong is... Okay. Wait. The victim appears to have put this raincoat on after sustaining the head injury, and yet there was not a single drop of her blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, she must have been hit in the head before she was stabbed in the chest, making it pre-mortem. Oh, that's... Ouch! I don't need you to teach me how to suck eggs, young man. My dang report already says what you just said, don't it? Your report states that the head injury appears to have been sustained post-mortem, which is the exact opposite of what I just said. Oh. Sure. I diligently dictated that report to Florence here, and she wrote it all down just like I said it. If something happened to it after that, weren't nothing to do with me. You dictated it? If you could please tell me more. I diligently dictated that report to Florence. Anything after that weren't nothing to do with me. Okay. Just so we're on the same page, what were your conclusions regarding the body? Well, like I said... Ouch! Sorry, it was, death from a good hard knock to the noggin. And can you say for certain when that knock happened, Dr. Hertz? Pre-mortem, of course. Chest wound happened after the poor girl died. I told Florence that, and she wrote it down, so that's what it says in my dang report. That may be what you told her, but I think we're finally getting to the truth. And what the heck do you think I'd stand to gain by doctoring the file, huh? Okay. So... interesting. So hang on. I diligently dictated that report to Florence. Anything after that weren't nothing to do with me. I think we have our contradiction here, because... Let's look at the coroner's findings again. Is it right here? Okay. Preliminary findings place the time of death at sometime late last night. Cause of death is the set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. Signed Hilda Hertz, the coroner. So yeah, she's... There's a I think this is it. Yeah. Dr. Hertz, I'd like you to take a look at the report for yourself. Oh, I'll read it. Ouch! This ain't what I said. This ain't what I said at all. What? What do you mean exactly? I don't know. But I can't say that. Miss Needler, if you are attempting to bury Dr. Hertz's truth, I will gladly hear her confession myself on behalf of the Goddess of Justice. Dr. Hertz seems to be telling Judge Gavelle something in private. What? I see. Very well. Allow me to relay to everyone what you have just told me. Oh, so we didn't have the animation to show her listening to the doctor, so we just did that. Ain't no doubt about what I said. I dictated my findings to Florence just like I told you I did. The fuddle-headed young thing must have wrote it down wrong or something. Wow, that was a great impression. Yes, but was it really necessary? So in summary, there was an error in the report. And it was all because of you, Nurse Needler. The true facts have now been shown to be that the head injury occurred prior to the chest wound. The question now, Miss Needler, is why did you introduce such an error?
Just a minute, Verity. You make it sound as if the poor girl did it deliberately, whereas it seems to me she just made a little mistake. Pre-mortem, post-mortem, they're practically the same word, don't you think?
Except they mean two completely opposite things. This was deliberate, no doubt about it. But why would she want to change it? Exactly. Thanks, ouch! You won't get away that easy. Explain yourself, young lady. But Grandma, You submitted a falsified report, an act that led to Kay being accused of murder. You owe us an explanation. But I can't. I can't tell you. No, don't want to, but can't.
This is really rather unpleasant, don't you think? Ganging up on this poor, considerate girl who's only looking after her grandmother. She has nothing to do with anything. She simply made one tiny mistake. So why not leave it there?
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because the only person her testimony would hurt is you.
Huh? What on earth do you mean, my boy? Seeing as you're now a de facto ex-prosecutor, you're going to need to explain yourself better than that.
I'd be happy to. I'll even spell it out for you. Nurse Needler's role in this crime was very important because... she's the real victim. What? She was the murder victim, and she's right here. She's the real murderer. She's a co-conspirator. Yeah. Nurse Needler doctored the report in order to cover for her accomplice.
Ouch. Oh, so she's a co-conspirator? This innocent young thing? Do share your grounds for making such a wild accusation, dear boy.
The murder couldn't have been committed by one person working on their own. Without at least two people, it wouldn't have been possible to move the body, maintain attendee numbers. Maintain attendee numbers, for sure. If the auctioneer was the murderer and the victim was one of the attendees, the fact that a witness testified to there being 11 attendees even after the murder doesn't make sense. Hey, watch it! Yo, gotta call my good word into question now, too? That's not what I meant. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm taking you at your word, which means there must be a co-conspirator.
I know it's hard, my boy, but sometimes you just have to accept that you were wrong.
I wasn't wrong. I just hadn't considered the possibility of the killer having an accomplice. But as soon as we do, things start to fall into place. If the killer's accomplice returned to the auction room in place of the victim, there would indeed have been 11 attendees both before and after the murder.
Well, so that's your thinking, is it? It's certainly an intriguing theory, but surely the imposter would have been spotted right away.
I don't imagine that Nurse Needler looks strikingly different from the victim in build and stature. With the help of a mask, she could very easily have replaced Miss Ringer without anybody noticing. Well, Nurse Needler, is that what happened? Did you take the victim's place at the auction? I wouldn't do something like that. Now tell us, the ringleader, who were they? I just can't. It hurt Grandma too. Ow! But Grandma... Don't you worry about me, I can take it. You just tell me everything, child. But...
Grab me! Uh-oh.
So I was right. She was an accomplice. Miss Needler, why? Well, Miss Needler, can you explain yourself? Yes. Huh? Oh, thank you, Grandma, but I'm all right now. I confess it. I changed places with Miss Ringer. So you admit that you were working with the ringleader? Yeah, I was helping them. I don't know how, but they found out Miss Ringer was going to attack them. The culprit was going to be attacked by the victim. They seemed pretty sure it was going to happen that night, so they made a counterplan. They wanted to strike first, and they wanted me to help them. I was told to go to the storeroom before the auction began and wait there.
Now hold on right there, Missy. I didn't see nothing, and my eyes don't lie. If you'd have been there before the auction, I would have bumped right into you. I was there the whole way through, and you weren't there for a bit of it.
But I'm not lying.
Well, that's easy for you to say, but you were lying about altering that report only a few minutes ago.
I think we're all well aware of the number of potential hiding places in that storeroom.
Are we? Where exactly are you trying to say our friend the nurse was hiding,
Nurse Needler hid here while she was waiting in the storeroom. Is it... Oh, the one thing Lotta couldn't see. This, the clothes box. She hid inside this clothes box.
Oh, she did she?
Ha! Well, it was there the whole time, even before I moseyed on in. But like I done told y'all, it had them chains around it. Wanted to hide in there myself, really, but it was locked up tight, so I had to go elsewhere. I imagine that's because Nurse Needler was already lying in there by the time you arrived. That's right, we didn't want anybody to open it, or it would have really blown our cover. So the ringleader told me to climb in and wait until it was time for my part of the plan. And then they wrapped the whole box up in chains. I think they took the elevator downstairs not so long after. It was just before the auction was due to start. Okay. So as the auction was beginning, you and Miss Hart would have been the only people in the storeroom? Yeah, I think so. The auction proceeded as it always did, until a certain customer came upstairs to complete her purchase. That was when the incident occurred. Miss Hart overheard the victim and the culprit exchanging words around then. You betcha! I was behind that statue there, shaking like a dang leaf the whole time. In the middle of their quarrel, Miss Ringer was killed by the auctioneer. I imagined the auctioneer then carried Miss Ringer's body over to the clothes box, from which Nurse Needler emerged and swapped places with the victim. After placing Miss Ringer's body inside the box, Nurse Needler's role now was to pretend to be Miss Ringer. The two of them then returned to the room below as if nothing had happened. Does that about sum up what happened in the storeroom, Nurse Needler? Yes, in fact, that's exactly what happened. Hold up, so you just waltzed right back on in and nobody noticed? This is two completely different people we're talking about. You're telling me not a one of the other folks down there at the auction cottoned on? Why would they? The other auction goers had no reason to notice the difference with Nurse Needler because she'd stolen the victim's clothes. She was using the victim's name. Well, she'd stolen the clothes because of the auctioneer outfit. As we've seen, Miss Ringer and Nurse Needler are about the same build. What's more, the auction rules required attendees to wear their masks at all times. If Nurse Needler were wearing the same clothes as Miss Ringer, nobody would have been any the wiser. No, and they weren't. I borrowed Miss Ringer's clothes and ouch! And left the poor child in her smalls? Have you no respect, girl? No, Grandma, I thought the same thing. It wouldn't be nice to leave her like that. So when the ringleader wasn't looking, I put that raincoat on her. So that's how Miss Ringer came to be wearing it. Thus, the auction was able to carry on as before. Guess the part where I caught the red raincoat on film came just after. Yeah, it must be. Then it all makes sense. Right after that was when I went over and looked downstairs through the gap in the elevator. Spied me 11 happy little auction goers, and back I snuck to my little hidey hole. Don't tell me you were hiding back there the entire time after that. Well, that is, not exactly. What is it? Did something happen? So maybe I'd have mentioned this before, but I fell asleep for a few winks after that. Well, passed out, unconscious, you might say. What? What happened? Nothing much. Kind of silly, really, but there was this sudden loud noise, and it startled me. Just a little bit, you know? All right, maybe more than a little, but I just witnessed a murder. Can't blame a girl for getting jumpy. Guess that got my heart shook and my head faint before I knew it. I was out like a light. And by the time I came to, it was the next dang day. And there y'all were, clanking down that ladder. I see. So you were startled by a loud noise and fell unconscious. I suppose that means you don't know what happened after that. Not per se, but, well, after the auction was over, all the masks were back on the rack. So I reckon the guests done finished up and filed out one by one like they were supposed to. Nurse Needler, once the auction had restarted, what exactly were you doing? I was pretending to be Miss Ringer and placing bids, just as the ringleader wanted. I had to win the clothes box, as I'd been instructed. It had a dead body inside, after all. Imagine if somebody else had won it. We would have been in real trouble then. So you had no idea that the victim had vacated the box in the meantime? No, not until we came back up so I could pay for it. That was when we noticed. The ringleader told me to go look for her right away. Except I found some other girl collapsed at the foot of the ladder instead. Okay. Yes, she must have fallen from up there on the roof and been knocked unconscious. Guess the victim must have left that hatch wide open, huh? That would explain it. Kay would have been so shocked by seeing Miss Ringer fall motionless right in front of her that she wouldn't have seen the open hatch and fallen right through it. That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor. Yeah, I suppose. Can't believe something like that done knocked me out for so long, though. So in summary, by the time Miss Needler found Kay, you were already sound asleep behind the statue. I think we've got a good grasp on what occurred up to this point now. Nurse Needler, if you would continue. Sure. So I found Kay, and next I found Miss Ringer, and I put them both in the clothes box. We couldn't risk any of the auction goers seeing them. That would have caused a real hullabaloo. Was that your idea, or the ringleader's? Theirs. But putting the raincoat on Miss Ringer was my own idea. So I tried to get rid of it before they found out what I'd done. I imagine they were none too pleased when it showed up as a surprise piece of evidence in this case. And lastly, the ringleader and I put her in an auctioneer's outfit we'd prepared. Of course, which completed the deception and made everyone think she was the auctioneer. All in all, the auction finished up without anybody noticing anything. And that was that. Now that we know the extent of your crimes, Nurse Needler, if you have anything further to share, I'd advise you do so immediately. I wish I could tell you more, but I'm sorry. That's all I know. Except for one thing. It did seem a little strange, I guess. When I was borrowing Miss Ringer's clothes, I took everything I could, but I couldn't take her hair, obviously, so ouch! You're dang right you couldn't take her hair. What kind of medical professional are you? That's where you draw the line? So taking her clothes was okay? Our hair was totally different. The style, the length, everything. I kind of panicked. But the ringleader thought of everything, including wigs. 2 of them, in fact. There was a straight one and a wavy one. They were both stashed in the clothes box. 2 wigs? But why? Right? I wondered that too. I thought maybe they were worried she might have changed up her style. Anyway, I took the straight one. That was the one that matched her hair on the day, leaving a wavy wig in the box. Okay. Interesting. We got our statement now. And that's everything you know? There's nothing else you're forgetting? No. Huh? No, really, Grandma, that's everything. And I take it that you really have no idea who the ringleader might be? Sorry. I only know they were in charge of the auction. I didn't see them without their mask on. And they were pretty careful to keep their identity a secret from everyone. Ugh! I can't get something concrete on them. Oh, well, Miles, are we about done? You've proven the nurse was part of the murder plot.
But sadly for you, it doesn't change a whole lot. Because it does nothing to prove that Kay Faraday isn't the ringleader. And justice must prevail. We can't change the law, even for your sake.
Is this it? Am I not gonna be able to save Kay?
Objection!
Francisca? What are you doing here? As I told you before, Miles Edgeworth, where the case leads, I follow. Your dedication is an inspiration to us all. But don't go getting the wrong idea, little brother. I'm only here to deliver the truth regarding the suspect. I'm certainly not here to forgive you for abandoning the way of the prosecutor. I understand that. You should thank your former subordinate for what I'm about to share. In his desperation to help Kay Faraday, he gave me a valuable piece of information. Detective Gumshoe did that? Prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth, for the final piece of the puzzle. Rosie Ringer's head wound was the first of the injuries she suffered, not the second. Oh no, you've been scooped by a really long time. Well, someone say something! Yes, there's no easy way to say this, Francisca, but we already proved that ourselves. You... What? Yes, just a few minutes ago. Oh! Well, why didn't you say so sooner? You didn't exactly give us a chance. And I suppose you know about the murder weapon, too. No, not yet. Ha, good. Then listen up. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt object bearing a circular surface, and the wounds to the chest were actually inflicted post-mortem. A circular surface?
And you're certain of that, I assume? Your sources are above board?
Two trusted medical professionals reached the same conclusion independently. You couldn't ask for more.
That's certainly good to know. Unfortunately, you're overstepping the bounds of...
Of what? I am the prosecutor in charge of Interpol's investigation into the underground auction, and this murder occurred during that auction. It would be negligent of me not to pursue leads pertaining to related parties, especially the victim.
My. You've really become quite the force to be reckoned with, haven't you, my dear?
Then all parties are in agreement. The victim died from a blow to the head. Alright. Sadly, the murder weapon itself has yet to be identified. Well, it's the gavel, isn't it? Because it vanished? Based on the shape. I might have an idea or two. But guys! I didn't turn up any other weapon during my investigation! And yet, one need only think about the setting and an auctioneer's tools, and the answer should be obvious. An object with a circular surface used in an auction. We're obviously talking about Judge Gavel's hammer. The auctioneer's hammer, a judge's hammer. Auctioneer's hammer. What would an auctioneer have readily at hand? An auctioneer's hammer, of course. But we never found one of those! If the auctioneer was indeed the killer, it does seem a likely candidate for the murder weapon. But without the evidence to support your theory, it remains nothing more than that. Oh, I have just the evidence you need right here. This piece of evidence strongly suggests that the auctioneer's hammer was the murder weapon. Lotta's testimony, right? That the... Do we have that? That the hammers... The sound could no longer be heard, yeah. Miss Hart told us something very important about the auction after the murder occurred. She said that the very prominent sound of the auctioneer's hammer could no longer be heard. Now, why would that be? I'll tell you why. Because it had just been used in a murder and was covered in the victim's blood. It would need to be disposed of. Isn't that right, Chairman Winner? I'll have our people look into this right away.
Oh, you really are like a dog with a bone, aren't you, dear boy? But if you can't dedicate yourself to a cause when you're young, when can you,
He seems very confident we'll never find it. Very well. A search for the murder weapon will be conducted. In the meantime, this court is in recess. To be continued. All right, well. I know it's ending a little early tonight, but I think this is a good stopping point, and we're just about at the time. Usually stop it. So this is a nice, clean end point. So let's go from there. So next time we're gonna keep going with Turnabout, a Turnabout Forsaken, and there is one more case after this. So anyway, we will see you then, and let's keep going. Loving it. This this game really is great. So see you next Saturday.